lot of people ask about push-up form, and I want to give you just step-by-step breakdown of exactly how to do push-ups with perfect form. So one of the first questions I hear is about elbows. Is it okay to flare them out to the side as you're going up and down and have them stick out, or should they be tucked and stay in? Flared push-ups, if you're predisposed to elbow problems, can exacerbate it. So that is something to keep in mind. And if you powerlift or are interested in powerlifting, having tucked in elbows mirrors the form that powerlifters use for bench pressing. So it will translate over better. So if that's a goal and you want to powerlift and bench press, having tucked elbows is a good habit. But that said, having tucked elbows, having flared elbows, either one is completely acceptable for push-ups. In virtually any push-up contest or for the military tests, either one's fine and acceptable. And the truth is we're all built a little bit differently, and what's most comfortable will depend on how you're built. I've talked to people that would much rather and feel a lot better doing flared push-ups and get a lot of pain if they try tucked ones, and vice versa. So the right answer is whatever's right for you. The only other caveat is when you do tucked push-ups like this, it really emphasizes your triceps more, and it slightly limits your range of motion. When you do elbows flared out to the side, it focuses more on your chest, almost like a pec fly. So either one's fine, but you should know kind of what the differences are, and if either one caused you discomfort, probably, it's not the one for you. Switch to the other one. So as long as you lower yourself down to 90 degrees, whether you're doing it with your elbows tucked or flared, either way is fine. It's a real push-up, and it'll give you real results. Some other tips for correct form are you always want to stay in line. And what that means is when you get down on the ground, your ankles, your knees, your hips, your back, everything should be pretty straight. If you find your knees start to slump, try to think about pressing your knees up towards the ceiling, and you want to keep your back pretty rigid. Everything should be flexed, so you're in a nice straight line from heels to head. You can try to, again, I was talking about powerlifting before, and you can do some tricks like that for push-ups. A powerlifter, when they bench press, they don't want to start with their shoulders all the way out in front of them, because that's a huge range of motion. They're going to have to force the weight through. In the same way as a sprinter isn't going to want to run 2 miles if they can run 1, a powerlifter isn't going to want to, go a further distance with the weight than they have to, because that's going to limit how much weight they can lift. So instead of pushing your shoulders out as far as you can forward, you want to actually tuck them back. Think about it like you got a quarter between your shoulder blades. You're going to pinch your shoulders back together to hold the quarter in place. So you want to pinch it, and you'll notice I'm going to extend one hand all the way out, and the other hand, I'm going to shift back, bring my shoulders back, and have it forward. And you'll see there's probably a 15 or 20% difference in the distance from one hand to the other. So if you shift both hands back, you can still do a full range of motion push-up, down to a full 90 degrees, but it's a much more limited range. And by having your shoulders engaged, you're going to have a more stable foundation, because it's not just your chest supporting you, now your back and your shoulders and everything is helping to keep you engaged, keep your muscles engaged, and keep your whole body with a strong foundation. Now, some people don't know where to look when they're doing push-ups. It can be tempting if you have a mirror nearby to check your form, but you want to be careful that you're not restricting your airflow when you do that. The ideal form for push-ups is you want to be looking straight down at your fingers. That's a good lineup for push-ups. If you're looking too much forward, you might restrict your breathing. If you're kind of going back, that's going to restrict your breathing too, and same side to side. So in general, as a rule of thumb, just looking straight down at your fingers as you're doing push-ups will let you breathe normally, and you won't have any discomfort. In terms of timing your breathing, what usually works best is you want to exhale as you're pushing and inhale as you're lowering. So what that does is it keeps your breathing completely regular, and when you're pushing as hard as you can, it can be easy to just hold your breath without even trying, and you end up having to quit a lot sooner than you could otherwise, just because your body isn't getting enough oxygen. So by focusing on inhale as you lower, and then exhale as you push, inhale as you lower, exhale as you push, you get a nice regular routine that keeps fresh oxygen flowing into your body and into your muscles. And it also helps you focus on just breathing normally and keeping your airflow nice and open. A lot of times people aren't quite sure where to line up their palms and what to do with their hands. What you want to do is basically have your palms below your shoulders. So it should be a pretty straight line from your shoulders down to your hands. You want your hands at about nipple height, and you're going to try to kind of flex your fingers. So you don't want to just have your hands just kind of sitting on the ground. You actually want to grip the ground actively. That's going to give you a more stable foundation. And likewise, if you wear jogging shoes or shoes that really absorb a lot of impact, that's fine, but it's probably the worst thing for push-ups, because it's like trying to do push-ups and squats on a mattress. It's actually going to absorb a lot of the force that you're trying to put into the ground. So either shoes that don't have a lot of padding or going barefoot can drastically increase the number of push-ups you can do. So again, shoulders over your hands at about nipple height, and you want to really grip the ground, just like you're grabbing it, and try to grip the floor with your fingers so everything is tight and rigid. The more you grab it, the more your hands and your feet are going to stabilize you, and the less that your chest and your triceps are going to be taxed just by stabilizing you. They can focus on pushing while the rest of your body keeps you stable. And the last thing I wanted to talk about is rest for push-up. If you're doing a military fitness test, or even a contest or a competition, or trying to set a Guinness Book World Record, whatever it is, you can't touch the ground with your body other than your hands and your feet. If you do that, the test is usually over in almost every instance. So the best way to rest is, instead of just slumping to the ground and being disqualified, or having it ended however many push-ups you've done, instead, for almost every test, you can stop and you can put weight on your shoulder. You're giving your triceps a break, you're giving your chest a break, and then you can go down, do a few more push-ups, take another break, lean back, put a little bit of weight on your shoulders, but give your chest and your triceps a little rest, and then squeeze out a few more. So that's the proper way to rest in between when you're taking a contest but you need a little bit of a break. That's how you want to do it for a push-up. The last thing is, how far down do you have to go to have it be a real push-up? But in general, it's 90 degrees. In some cases, you're going to have to go down and touch the instructor's fist. They'll put their fist down. And a good way to approximate that, if you know that's how the test is going to be, is to put a ball or a couple of books on the ground so you get used to bringing your chest down to that level and touching. Because usually if you don't touch the instructor, if you're an inch shy, then it doesn't count at all. So you want to get used to bringing yourself down to that level. But in most cases, you just need to bend your elbows down to 90 degrees. So once you've hit that, that's far enough, and you push back up. So like I said before, shoulders over hands, hands gripping the floor, toes gripping the floor, back and hips and everything else rigid, and bending the elbows at 90 degrees. I hope these tips are helpful for you. This is really the correct form to do push-ups. It'll help avoid injuries. It'll help you get the most gains out of doing them. And it'll bring you fast results, whether you want to challenge a friend to a contest, or you actually have a test for your work, for the military, for the police, or for the fire department. So good luck. Hope you get quick results. For more great advice, check out our website. And I appreciate your time. I wish you every success. Thank you.